What's up? Ooh, I almost dropped my camera. What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy Joshua Martin. Hopefully you can hear me. It's kind of windy out here. Anyway, this is going to be a review about the 8mm SLR Magic lens that I just picked up not too long ago. You've seen me tease it on my Instagram stories, so I'm actually going to do a video about it. Long overdue. Those of you have known my gear getting stolen, but all is good. Gotta keep hustling. Anyway, let's jump right into it. So let's talk about build quality. In my last review, I talked about how small the Vajra 35mm lens is compared to other larger cine lenses. But if you pick up this lens, this thing is tiny. It looks like a toy. It almost feels like a toy, even though it's built out of metal. But this thing is really, really compact and really small. So there's a locking screw for the focusing ring. Once you slightly unscrew it, the whole barrel of the lens rotates, and you can rotate it with this little knob that they have. Now what I've done, I've modified it where I put a larger step-up ring from a 52 to a 77 so I could fit all of my filters, but also grab the front of the lens and rotate it that way. It's a lot easier instead of trying to find where the smaller knob is on the lens. The next ring is the Aperture ring, and it's 4, 8, and 16. I assume that the space between 4 and 8 are a range of 5.6, 6.3, and 7.1, all the way up to 8. What I tend to do now is just leave it at f8, and I just run with it, just because the Aperture ring is so small and it takes too much time trying to fiddle around and adjust your lighting, your aperture while filming, or even like touching it and just kind of rattling your camera. So I just avoid that, and I just leave it at one aperture and go on from there. And speaking of aperture, let's just dive right in and do some sharpness tests, and I'll let some B-roll roll as well. So f4 is usable. You notice that the center of it is quite sharp, but once you get to the edges, that's when the quality starts to degrade. But once stopping down to f5.6 or f8, f8 is probably the sweet spot. It has good sharpness all the way through. And of course f16 and so on and so forth. So one of the reasons why I have this lens is I needed something much wider than my 24mm, which is my 12 from Vajra. So I saw this lens online, and I'm like, whoa, it's very cheap compared to the other wide angle lenses like the Loa 7.5. This fits right beneath it. This is around $200 now on B&H. And go to another spot, it's quite loud over here. Yeah, the reason why I got this lens, I need a wider focal length. Right now it's at the 12mm, which is a 24 equivalent. So it's wide, but not that wide. It's like a standard wide. This here is a rectilinear lens. So it's right on the cusp of being a fisheye, but they keep it, well actually I don't know the engineering behind it, but it doesn't distort like a fisheye on the edges, as you can see. It's super wide, and it still retains minimal distortion, so I really like that. And that being said about the distortion, overall this lens is pretty good, like better than expected for the price. It's lightweight, so you can get some really interesting camera movements if you're careful with it. And plus the in-body stabilization with the GH5 is quite incredible, so it's a good deal. Like, I can't stress that. Like, when I saw this lens for the price it was, I was like, yep, gotta pick it up. And I tested on this earlier. The price is $200 currently on Amazon, B&H, Adorama, and I'll link it below as well. So if you're in the market for a wide angle lens for your micro four thirds sensor and you're on a tight budget, this is the lens to look at. I say go for it. So the things I love about this lens, it's a wide angle lens for your micro four thirds camera. It has minimal distortion. It's lightweight, it's small, so it's great for traveling with. It performs best at 5.6 or f8 or anything greater than that. f4, you can work with it, but mind you, the edges are very soft. Some of the things I don't like about it, the focusing ring, the rings itself focusing, and the aperture ring are really small, and it feels like you might break it if you turn it the wrong way. So that's where the build quality, for me, it suffers. You get what you're paying for. It's $200, so it's gonna feel cheap at times. But once you get past that, you're gonna really get some great shots with this lens. Well, that wraps it up for this video. Like I said, if you're in the market for a wide angle lens that doesn't break your budget or breaks your bank, check out this lens. It's affordable, it's super wide. Some of the things you gotta worry about is the build quality. Since it is at a cheaper price, this lens is prone to break because it is so small. But hey, I hope you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up, give me comments below, and some other links that you might want to check out below as well. So till next time, y'all, have a good one. Deuces.